welcome to the second part of the CerTrust meeting. Here, Evelyn and I from sciBASICS keep talking to the three CerTrust experts in this second part of the meeting. So, if you haven't watched the first one, go check it out. When you see the video length, we shortened it so that we have more content over several months and that you don't have to sit through a 20-minute session because we rarely have 20 minutes to spare. So, don't forget to leave a like if you like the video, of course. If you don't leave a like. Subscribe if you really liked it. And I'll see you next time. Now, let's get back to the video.
That kind of double checking, is that something that you get paid for? Is that a part of the submission cost, or is this something that you charge apart, or how does that work? Because it is work from your side. If I do a work, something, and you have to double check, how does that fly in practice?
The first and the most essential part of the procedure is the beginning, because we are always asking that could you send us, at least the base of the technical documentation containing the CMC list, all the CMCs listed in the table, and could you, sign the chosen CMC as well. After then, we are also asking that could you send us a label, because so many manufacturer has his or her own label. And based on this label, using the labeling guidance for EU fertilizer, it's quite easy to create, the EU fertilizer label. And after then, if, the manufacturer has any kind of test report, we are asking that as well, because, contaminations are quite essential and critical regarding biostimulants. And after that, in the same times, biostimulant trials and the justification of the claims is also essential. So I always asking that one. And if all the papers and all the documents seems accepted or acceptable, we are sending an application form that, okay, you can apply for the procedure. But if I see any kind of problem with, the product or the CMCs, I always ask the key questions with which we can, reach or know or get the information that will it be acceptable in the future or not. Because, so many cases there are lack of trial reports, or there are high contamination level in the materials, or there are CMCs which has no REACH registration number or no REACH registration documents, unidentified CMCs, or CMCs with other problems. So these are the critical steps in the beginning. But after we accepted the documentation, most of the time, the whole procedure can run.
You mentioned an interesting point, Ildiko. Yeah, thank you very much. That's very useful, because I was wondering, because you said all component materials have to be listed, even in small quantities. That for me rings immediately the question, is there a threshold, in terms of percentage, for instance, in the product, where you could say, okay, above this threshold you have to declare, but if it's below, okay, it can be considered a contamination. Does it work that way, or? Okay.
There are no threshold.
No thresholds, okay.
No. All the CMCs has to be listed, even in that case, when the CMC, I don't know, is 0.1%. So all of them has to be categorized, because we have to know all of them. Since, the final product will be put either on leaves or in the soil. And naturally, even though the matter is in quite a small quantity, it will be on the leaves and the soil, so it can reach the food chain. This is the reason why we have checked carefully all of the CMCs and all of the origin of the CMCs as well. Okay. Naturally, it doesn't mean that all the CMCs has to be listed on the label, because, there are so many manufacturers who have so many industrial secrets. And the regulation says that only ingredients above 5% in dry materials has to be listed, but it doesn't mean that we doesn't have to know them, which are under 5%.
That's a good point.
And there are so many manufacturers who would like to highlight on the label the other ingredients which are less than 5%. For example, essential oils in biostimulants, sometimes that is only 1% or less. But these are quite important ingredients. So, this is the flexibility which is given by the FPR to the manufacturers.
That's a very interesting point, Ildiko. And Talking about labels, which is a very popular topic, as you might imagine, it's on a national level, and it's certainly also on a European level. Just to understand your services, when I draft a label, for instance, under the European fertilizer regulation for my client, is there a possibility that you can double check as well? Is that also something that you could do? Okay.
Sure.
Just to make sure that the label is okay, because
Yes.
it's something not to get wrong, right?
Sure.
So,
The general answer is that if the manufacturer has any kind of question for CerTrust, our answer is yes, we always have. Yes, we always double check. So don't worry, there are no wrong questions, because our common goal is to put the product to the market with the good condition. So it means that our responsibility is common and the goal is common, to help the manufacturers to put the product safety into the European market. So yeah, we naturally check everything double, but it doesn't mean that we can, give advice. We always saying that was okay and that was not, and you should double check.
It's a responsibility of the manufacturer.
Yes, that's right. So we cannot say the good answer. We can highlight that in which point will she or he find the right answer.
As regards to the different modules, I had written down another question that came to my mind this morning, and it was to know whether it happened already to you that a biostimulant actually could have belonged to one or two or maybe even more different modules, and so that you were facing a kind of a borderline situation. Has that already happened? And in that case, is it the manufacturer who can choose whatever he prefers for whatever reason? Or is it you then who would say, no, sorry guys, this we rather see in this or that module? Has this happened already?
Yeah, we never give advice or never say this cannot belong here, because it's always responsible and the decision of the manufacturers.
Okay.
This is the reason why we have a couple of clients in module D with biostimulants, because their decision is based on sometimes financial things or producing things. So some manufacturers choose module D1, but sometimes manufacturers choose module B. So it's totally their decision what they are choosing regarding biostimulants. It could fit both places, and the most reason why they are choosing module B, because it's slightly faster and cheaper. And if you have only one type product, you shall choose module B. But if you have a bigger factory, or you would like to check the quality assurance system, they sometimes choose module D1.
I would like to move on to the next question, of course, which is about the why one should apply for European registration. And we already said it. I think basically, and the most important one, is that you do the work once and you can place your product on every European member state country. Having said that, it happened already twice where with my colleagues we did a rough assessment about the cost which would incur if a biostimulant was to be placed on the market with the European fertilizer regulation, and the costs actually skyrocketed. We were estimating something like 60 to 70,000 euros.
Yes.
Because of efficacy trials, ecotox trials, whatever. That, of course, kills it immediately. 60,000 particular small and medium, enterprises, as you can imagine, they cannot afford that. And you might, or you might not, I don't know, have already been in contact with potential clients, which are really literally, people mixing up some biostimulant in their garage and then wanting to place it on the market. I'm thinking about a fish farmer, for instance, who said, I have this great idea and I could actually produce this and I'm doing it and it works really well. But then if I tell them, but you add another 70,000 and you can be on the European market. So I would like to know from you, and whomever feels free to, feels like responding to this one, is there any way that a manufacturer or consultant working for such manufacturer could assess really easily the costs and the data requirements for some, a biostimulant which would need to be placed on the market? I know it's a difficult question, but I would like to hear your approach on, on how you, because I'm pretty sure you get these questions as well from others.
Yes. Well, the cost of the biostimulant, development is quite complex. So first, as a CerTrust, cannot talk about the other cost which has the manufacturer for developing. But the first cost what we are seeing directly is the trial cost. And the range in this trial cost could be quite high, because there are different companies who could give the service for field trials, greenhouse trials, phytotron trials. So all the manufacturer has to find its own contact and its cheapest way. Naturally, we also could offer places in which are capable to test the products. But there are so many manufacturers who have an internal greenhouse or their own private place to check the product. And those reports, when they are in compliance with the CEN-PS 7700, they are perfectly acceptable. But if somebody would like to order a trial, unfortunately, they have to pay the price. But the reason for the field trial is not only to have another document or something like that. Trial is the key element for the biostimulant, because the field trial is a justification document in which we can check whether the product is having any effect. And this is the first interaction with the natural environmental, the plant, and the biostimulant. So we have to check, carefully the whole matrix and the whole, the whole working way of the biostimulant. So we cannot accept a product without any justification, because this trial is a good step and a good approach to getting no information. But we know, unfortunately, the price, and we are always trying to help the manufacturer to find the cheapest place to check, or, at least to select those agronomical markers which shall be checked. But, this is also the decision of the manufacturer, because he is the one who knows the better the product. And after then, we also have to talk about the lab cost. But Zsuzsanna is the best in this lab cost question, because, she has the most contact with the laboratory because she is a chemist. So the lab cost is also significant. There are OR fees for evaluation. And since we are talking about biostimulant trials, which is sometimes it's 3, 6, or 8, it's quite a huge number. And a good trial is at least 60 or 70 pages. We have to read it carefully. We have to check it. So the evaluation of the trial reports is also a fee. So this is the base price. But Zsuzsanna will talk about more of the lab test or the lab price as well.
Thank you, Ildiko. Zsuzsanna?
Yes, the cost of the lab trials, lab tests depend on the parameters which must be tested during the measurement. And for laboratory, this is a subcontracted laboratory in Hungary, can make a proposal, but the laboratory must know something about the product, the declared component, and PFC category, CMC category, because the contaminants dependent on the category, and that's why the cost of the test also dependent on this information. If you want to know something about the range of the cost laboratory test, I have to emphasize that it depends on your product. It can vary between 700 euro to 2,000 euros. If the laboratory has to test lots of parameters regarding a product, the cost can be higher, and there is only some parameters, some contaminants, the cost can be lower.